Hey guys, it is Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, giving you a very quick, very cool little class today, and it's possibly my first confectionery class because we are making today an almond and fennel praline, or should I say praline? It is a French confectionery, so pronounced praline, and very, very popular all over the world. And after this class, you're going to see why. Now, the reason why I'm doing this class is yesterday during our fennel masterclass, I kind of brought out this jar and teased the living daylights out of you guys with my almond and fennel seed praline, and asked whether you would like me to do a quick cooking class on how to make this sugar-free praline, and of course the overwhelming answer was yes. So we are doing this class today for all of you who requested it on yesterday's fennel masterclass. If you haven't watched the fennel masterclass, you should. It will literally teach you how to fall in love with that wonderful bulbous vegetable known as fennel. I'll get Mahe to throw up a link to that class. We did a live video yesterday. I shared over 10, probably about 12, 13 different ways on how you can incorporate fennel into your diet. And fennel is really high in dietary fiber, so it's good for us. Now, fennel seeds, on the other hand, which is what we're going to be using to make our delicious praline today. Fennel seeds, you can't directly get them off the bulb. So if you buy the fennel bulb in the veggie shop, you will be able to use the entire thing, right from the fronds at the top, going down into the stems can be used, and also the bulb. But if you want to make this praline, you're going to have to go and purchase yourself some fennel seeds. Now, these are fennel seeds here. I'm going to show you guys. There they are. Really small, but my goodness, do they pack a punch. Do they pack an absolute punch. And once again, I just noticed I'm still not receiving any notifications on my live. So if you're joining me today and you're saying hi, I can't. Oh, thank you. Mahe's saying that Kathy's there and Donna's there. Hi guys. I'm so glad you can join me. Apologies, Facebook's playing silly buggers and it won't show me, for some strange reason, won't give me any notifications to say that you guys are watching. But I'm hoping. Oh, I know I'm not alone, so that's good. So here, back to the fennel seeds. Fennel seeds here. These are obviously dried and completely edible. Like I said, small, tiny, but you know, pack a punch. And in fact, if you were to eat one just like this, the flavor you're going to get is a really strong flavor of camphor and aniseed. I can taste those in there. It is really pungent, and it's crazy. This tiny little seed is really, really pungent. Hence why we're going to make a praline today using fennel seeds, because it's kind of a fennel kind of a couple of days, if you know what I mean. And I do really, look, I am a lover of the flavor of aniseed, so I think back to my days of drinking absinthe. If anyone has ever had the drink absinthe before, also known as the green fairy, it has that wonderful sort of licorice overtones to it, which are delicious. And so does our little fennel seed here. Now, once this goes into the praline, if you're like, I don't like aniseed, don't like it. Once it gets into the praline, you won't be able to like have this overwhelming urge to know that that's aniseedy, but you're going to have this lovely underlying flavor that's going to give it a little bit of a kick, because we're going to be using almonds. We're going to caramelize, well, we're not caramelizing sugar, which is the traditional way to make praline. Praline is basically whole almonds with caramelized sugar. And the French invented it, like the French do, you know, with most delicious, amazing things, but we're going to make a healthy version today. So we are going to be using fiber syrup is going to be our sweetener, and of course I still have some of our soon to be released, guys, it's getting closer, we're about to release our own prebiotic pure fiber syrup, 100% chicory fiber syrup, so it's a prebiotic. We're going to be using that today, as well as some almonds and of course our fennel seeds. 3 ingredients, really, really simple. Let's get into it. Come on down to my bench and let's start making some praline. So oh, this is my yogi tea, never too far from me. I'm telling you, I love that stuff so much. So first thing that we want to think about is at this point here, and this is my fennel seeds, you know, it still packs a bit of a punch when it comes to flavor. I want to intensify that flavor even more. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to give them a very, very quick cook in my small pan here. A very quick cook, In a dry pan, you don't have to add any oil, you don't have to do anything like that. I'm going to add in a couple of tablespoons of my dried fennel seeds. They're going to go into my pan. And what's going to happen when I do this, so a couple tablespoons, what is happening to our fennel while it's going into our dry pan, just flatten them out a little bit, is we're allowing the fennel seeds time for the flavours to enhance. It's called blooming, and I know I speak about this all the time. I am an absolute fan of blooming spices. So to bloom a spice means when we add some heat to that spice intensifies in flavour up to 10 times of if I was just to add that fennel seed straight from the plastic container. So this is a way that we can intensify flavour, and I don't care if it's curry paste that you've got in there and you're dry frying it, whether it's turmeric, whether it's coriander seeds or coriander powder, cumin powder, all the spices absolutely benefit from this dry frying here. They don't need long, you don't want to add any colour. We're just helping the oils that are naturally present in the spices to start to come to the surface, and they're going to be more recognisable once they get into our praline. So as soon as you hear a bit of a pop from your fennel seeds, there's a little bit of a pop, that's all we need to do. So did you hear that? Just that little bit of a pop. So as you can see, there's no colour, but already the aroma that's coming off this pan after, you know, just a couple of like 30, maybe 45 seconds in a hot pan without any colour, but the aroma that is coming off this now has completely changed the complexity of our fennel. It's just amazing what that little bit of heat does. So have a bit of a try. Like, try it before you add heat, and then try it after you add heat. And I have to say, I definitely prefer this version now. So that's done. Put them into a little container, just to so you can use the same pot to start to think about caramelizing our sugar. Well, it's not sugar, is it? It's syrup, and it's fiber syrup, and it's pure, and it is the most incredible way to make a praline using this, because of course it's sugar-free, and of course it's also a prebiotic. So it's a healthy praline, which I've never in my entire life ever heard of a healthy praline. So back over to my little pot. I'm using a really heavy base saucepan, which is really important, just a really small one, ideal for this type of cooking. And I'm going to be adding into here, oh, it's still hot, 5 tablespoons of my fiber syrup. Actually, you know what? I lied. It's 4. 4 tablespoons of my fiber syrup. That's without it being on the heat. You can hear it bubbling away. How cool is that? Because I do want to add some heat, I'm going to turn my little cooktop back on again, turning it on to medium. And what I'm doing now, as I'm cooking the syrup, so you can see it's already bubbling away there. Perfect. Now this is where you need to be really present, as we've talked about before, lots and lots of times before. You need to be really, really present and keep an eye on this, because it turns from completely clear to caramelized really, really quickly. So don't step away from the pot. Keep an eye on it. You don't have to put the spoon back in. All I'm doing is just swirling it gently. Just swirling it gently, but just maintaining that visual the whole time. It's really important that you don't walk away. It won't take long. And if you've made this before, because I know I've got a similar technique in my ginger nut biscuits that I shared with you, I think about a week ago. There's a similar technique here, and the whole process either lives or fails by your ability to stay present and to stay visually aware of what's happening in your little pot. So still nothing, as you can see. That's good. That's good. That's really good. I'm also going to take my almonds here, about 50 grams of whole almonds. Definitely have the skins on here. Some people say, oh no, you need to have blanched almonds for this. No way, let's go whole, because there's so much goodness just under that skin. So whole almonds, and yes, they are raw, they're not toasted or anything like that. roughly chopped. They are waiting, because once things happen quickly. So you'll also notice that I have my tray here with my baking paper. Really important, you need to do this on baking paper, otherwise your praline's going to stick. So I'm beginning to get some colour around this, around the edges. So now I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to stand here. I'm not moving, because this is not going to take very long at all. So I've got some colour happening around the edges, which means the caramelization is occurring. Making sure I got my tray. Oh, you know what? I just moved that. Swapsies. Here we go. All right. Can you see? Colour has happened. That is enough for me. That's all I want. It's a light golden caramel. You want to put it onto your baking paper. You can use your spoon at this. Oh, shush. You noisy, beepy thing. I know I turned you off. There we go. Right. You can use your spoon at this stage, but you've got to work quickly because your caramel will turn hard very quickly. So scrape out as much as you can from your pot. Then take up your almonds and sprinkle them onto the caramel. And then take up your fennel seeds and do the same thing. You want to make sure that you have the all that caramel that you have just created. You don't want to waste it. So make sure that you have nuts and fennel seeds attached to every piece of caramel that there is. Because this is going to make a gorgeous, gorgeous praline. I'll see if I've got any left. Have I got any left in here that I can just extract? Don't want to waste any of this gorgeous fibre syrup. Oh, look at it. Already it's created its own little caramel strands. Now I think I'm done. I think I said, no, that's all. Get over there. There you go. So this is now at a point where you have made caramel, as you can see. And it's hard. Well, it's almost hard. I can be careful. It's really hot, by the way. She says as she burns herself. But you can already see that we've created that caramel just like that. Now, if you're wondering, now how on earth am I ever going to clean my pot? One of the beauties, absolute gems about fibre syrup and making caramel from fibre syrup is that it is very easy to clean up afterwards. If you've ever made caramel using like refined sugar, you know that once you get it to that caramel stage, it literally becomes a rock on your pots and pans or your implements, your utensils that you're using, and it's quite difficult to get off. Whereas with this, just soak it in water. Like literally just leave it in the sink, soaked in water, and by the time you finish doing all of this business, you're going to come back and it's going to be just a matter of just, you know, giving it a normal washout. So beautiful thing, this fibre syrup, is how easy it is to clean off our cookware, which is really, really wonderful. So what I'm doing now is the next stage of the process, which is basically waiting until it starts to harden. So if you wanted to, you could literally, well, those ones haven't attached, I'll put them there. You could literally break this into shards now, and you could eat it like how the English call it a brittle, which is basically just caramelized nuts. But they eat it in big shards, and that's like a little healthy treat. But you know, it doesn't go so far if you do it that way. If you turn it into, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into more like a crumble. So, you know, big chunks and small chunks and fine powder, you know, a little bit sort of, I suppose, a little bit more higgledy-piggledy. If you do that, it definitely goes further, because, you know, by the end of all this, you're going to have about, you know, half a jar worth of your own praline. So you can do that crumbling sort of method. And the other alternative is to grind it right down to a really fine powder. And it all depends on how you want to use it. As I said, the English make it into a brittle. Look, it's basically like a lolly. Ooh, look at that. I know, isn't it the best ever? It's got a few bits of fennel stuck to it. Doesn't take long, is why we've got to work fast, which is absolutely fine with me. And if you're able to snap it, that's when you know that it's ready. But I can see it's still a little bit too bendy. It's actually, you want to snap. You want that snap sound, and it might take, you know, it might take a couple of minutes to fully cool down. And while we wait for it to cool down, I'll show you the next stage, which is just so simple. As we wait till it's cool down, how do you use it? Like, what are the best ways to use your praline? So if we are thinking about it as a crumble, like this one here, We can use it as a filling. So we can, you know, if you make your own chocolates out of my healthy vegan chocolate, you could use this as a filling inside the chocolate. So then you've got lovely little crunchy bits, which is really, really cool. You can also sprinkle that on your almond porridge, which is amazing. Think about putting that on top of coconut yogurt with some berries, which would be great. I sprinkled this on a salad yesterday. So I made a barbecued fennel, pickled onion, cucumber, lemon yogurt salad, and I sprinkled this on top of it, which was so wonderful because it just added more texture and you had these little crunches. And yes, I know it was a savory application, but this is, as you know, the beauty about fiber syrup is it's not sickeningly sweet. It is mildly sweet, so you're able to then use this on sweet and savory applications. I mean, but also think about putting it like on your little 2-minute muffin that you make. How gorgeous would that be? Or putting it on top of cakes or topping biscuits or whatever it is. It has quite a few uses. So let's see if we are snappable. Oh, did you hear that? Yes. So once it is able to be snapped, you know that it is ready for the next and final stage on its journey to being awesome. But you know what? That's pretty awesome too. That's brittle, right? Look at that. That is brittle. You could serve that as a little treat. You could absolutely serve that as a little treat. So its final part of the journey is we take up our little food processor, break it into those shards, those little shards. Oh, this would be really gorgeous though as a garnish. Wouldn't that be gorgeous as a garnish on top of something really, really, really cute? I mean, that's up to you guys. I leave it all up to you guys how you do it. Oh, it sounds like a really hard lolly now. Put all the nuts and stuff in there. Don't waste anything. And in fact, sometimes, you know, the best thing to do in this type of situation, the other reason why I love using baking paper, is just do that. Don't waste anything. And of course, cleaning is pretty much self-explanatory. It's already done. That's it, cleaning done. Put it over here. All right, I'm gonna plug in my little doodacky. Where is it? There it is. Plug in my machine. Now it is a noisy, because you're going to be breaking all that up into crumbles, so it's going to be a little bit noisy, so brace yourself. Brace yourself. Alright. Ta-da! Done. All those gorgeous shards are now gorgeous pieces of your sugar-free praline. Kind of crazy that we get to eat that and it's a prebiotic and it's good for our bodies. I know, it is kind of crazy. I have a question. Yes, Maheen?
Can you use another nut other than almonds?
Can you use another nut other than almonds? Absolutely. Now, what I have taught you here, the almond praline is traditional. So this is the French, and don't you love the French? They do know what they're doing. This is the traditional French style praline. Praline in other parts of the world, or known as praline if you are in the US, that's what they actually call a chocolate. This is not that at all. Praline is almond and caramelized sugar. But if you wanted to think outside the box, or maybe you don't like almonds, or maybe you're allergic to almonds, absolutely try it with pecans. Would work amazingly well. Walnuts, sort of. You know, walnuts do have a interesting flavour. They don't lend themselves quite as well to praline as, say, pecans and almonds do, and cashews I find to be a little bit on the boring side. They're a little bit bland for this style of application. But your pecans most definitely, your hazelnuts most definitely, macadamia nuts also work incredibly well in praline. So those type of nuts definitely lend themselves towards this. I would possibly just stay away from walnuts, but you know, you could be a big walnut fan, and by all means go ahead and, you know, give it a blast, give it a go. But like I said, what I have shown you is the base. You now create what you want to create with it. Now think about this for a second and let it slightly blow your mind. Almond and fennel, amazing, right? You get to have the goodness of the fennel seeds, and fennel seeds are very, very good for aiding in digestion. That's why I like to add them to food. They're really helpful to get our stomach in order, especially if we've had a big or heavy meal. So those seeds are really awesome. But imagine now making yourself a little praline and adding raw cacao nibs in there. So you've got like these little chocolate bits in there. That would be fabulous. So really think outside the box. Have a little look through your pantry and go, you know what? I don't have this, but I might try it with that. And then by all means, please share with us. Share with us your combinations, because it's always interesting to see what you guys come up with as well. Because this is the base. You now create what you want. All I've taught you is technique. And the technique is how to get your fiber syrup from clear, like this. Well, mine's proper fiber syrup has actually got a little bit of a gold tinge to it. It's quite gorgeous, isn't it? So you take that and then you turn it into caramel, like that. So I've taught you the technique. Go forth and make praline and let us know how you get on. I am excited by it. As I said, salads, desserts, toppings, fillings, ingredients, add-ons. Go for it, guys. All right, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this quick little class. I'll be sharing a recipe on Bridget's Kitchen, a brand new recipe with you guys tomorrow, and it is definitely worth looking into. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care and have a great day wherever you are in the world. And apologies, I can't see any of your comments, but hopefully you guys are there. All right, take care.